So I want to repeat the last verse, which is 150, right? Um, I mentioned yesterday a very key point, and we have to put this in our minds, is the punk nature of Islam. What does punk nature mean? What does that mean to me? To you, somebody says like someone's a punk. What does that mean? Rebellion, they don't care, right? So this is a very important thing because whether in the East or whether in the West, by default, we worship the group mentality. I have to do what everybody else does. Otherwise, I can't function, right? It's more in the East than it is in the West. In the West, there's a lot of individualism, but in the East, it's a major thing, right? It's a major thing. You have to do it. What would people say? You have to do this. What would people say? People worship these things. In fact, many people in the East, it's like the only reason why you're Muslim is because what would people say, right? What would people say if you did this? What would people say? So you wear a hijab because what would people say if you didn't wear a hijab, right? What would people say if you ate pork, right? So you have this person, for example, the reason why they don't eat pork is A, what would people say? B, it's disgusting to them because they think it's disgusting. So even if they were forced, they wouldn't eat it, even though it becomes wajib for them. So even in a situation where it becomes wajib for them, they couldn't eat it. I can't eat pork, it's disgusting. Can't eat it. But it could be wajib to eat pork if you were dying, for example. They wouldn't do it, right? This Yemeni lady, Yemenis, right? We know they have a lot of haya, niqab, they don't want to talk to men, etc. That's good. So there's a Yemeni lady who's in an airport. I can't pray in public. It's impossible. How am I supposed to bend over in public? So she doesn't pray. Sister, I understand, but you have to pray, right? Like you have to pray. Or she's wearing a niqab. She doesn't want to take a niqab at all, so she's going to do sujood with a full niqab. You can't do sujood with a full niqab. You have to put your head on the floor. But she says, like, I can't possibly expose my face in front of men, ever. So her culture is more important than the deen. It looks religious, but her culture is more important than the deen, right? And obviously other things as well. How could I ever do this? This is so weird. How could I wear a hijab? It's so weird, right? How could I don't know, how could I grow a beard? It's so weird, right? That's such a strange thing to do, right? And so we have this thing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, don't fear them, fear me. Key concept again and again, right? Don't fear me, don't fear them, fear me. Again, I keep talking about this concept because it comes again and again and again in the community, in the world, in the Quran. Marriage. I can't marry somebody like that. Why? What would people say? What would people say if we didn't have a wedding like this? What would people say if the wedding was like that? What would people say if what would people say if you had a divorce? Right? So they'll stay together just because what will people say? That's not a good reason to do anything. That's not a good reason to do anything. What would people say? Right? And we all know the story of Mullah Nasr ad-Din with the donkey, right? You know the story? Right. So he's traveling with his donkey and his son. Right? I don't want to repeat it. If everybody knows the story, I'm not going to repeat it. But so he's traveling with his donkey and the son, and the son is riding the donkey. So they go past a village, and everyone's like, Astaghfirullah. Look at this very disrespectful son. He's riding the donkey, and his poor old man is, walking. That's so disrespectful. So then they swap because people say things. So they swap. So he's riding the donkey now, and the son's walking. They say, Astaghfirullah, look at this horrible old man. Even though he's strong, he rides a donkey and he makes this poor son walk. Astaghfirullah. So then they both get on the donkey, right? And then they go past another village, like, astaghfirullah, look at these people. No rahmah for the donkey, subhanallah. Two people on one donkey. But then they both get off the donkey. And everyone's like, huh? Why'd you have a donkey? You don't even use it. You're just idiots. Like, what are you doing? So then in the fifth village, what do? They carry the donkey. They're walking in carrying a donkey, right? So this is how we live life, right? If you go through life, like, why did you go to, like, I had a friend, for example, like, he does med school. Like, I hate medicine. So he goes through the whole of med school and I cannot be a doctor. I'm sorry. So he finishes med school. He practices medicine for 3 years and he leaves it. And he starts his life again at 35. So this is in the dunya, let alone in the akhirah. Why did you do what you did? Who did you marry? Why did you do this? How do you function? How do you make choices? How do you do all these things? What would people say? Right? and this is I can't remember who it is. There was some social. It could be Max Weber or something like this, a sociologist. He said God is actually made up, right? And I totally agree with him. Allah is not made up, but most people's idea of God is made up, right? He says what happens? He says there is a tribe mentality, right? You and I, two brothers, they go through difficulty in life. They're hunting, they're farming, they go through difficulty. And so they build a camaraderie. There's this brotherhood, right? This is the qabilat, right? The tribe. That tribe identifies as something. And then we have the next generation, and we identify as we are, yesterday I was telling the kids in school, in Afghanistan, you have tribes, right? Ali Kozai, this Kozai, right? That's throughout the world. McDonald, that's a tribe. Mackenzie, that's a tribe, right? McLaren, that's a tribe. These are all tribes. So everybody has tribes, right? This is who you are. What happens then is then you have certain things that you, for example, that represent you. For example, we were this side of the valley. So we called the valley tribe. And we have a tree. And over time, we have a tree that, for example, wherever we go, we have that sign. So for example, in Scotland, the tribe, every single tribe has a different design. Right? That's called a different tartan little thing. They have a different sign. So that image is now you. McLaren, they'll have a design. McDonald's has a design. Every single tribe has a design, right? In Etorol, what is it, that tribe? The Kai tribe, they have their little design, right? They have their tribe. So now that symbol becomes important. And it's not, and then you step on it, you offend people. And eventually that symbol becomes sacred, and then it becomes God. That's how it works. So he said, this sociologist, he said, all religion is made up through the sense of community. And that sense of community over time becomes special and then sacred, and then it turns into an abstract God, right? So he said if you go look up any, like basically he says, the Jews, they went through the same process. They made up God, and then Muslims just copied God from the Jews, right? And the Greeks, they had this thing and they created Zeus, and everybody creates their own God. And so it's true and it's false. Allah is not made up. Right? Allah exists, whether you make him up or not. But people do that. For many people, religion is just a complex expression of us. It's not about Allah. It's not about Allah. So Allah is not there in their relationship, right? Or it's a complex, you were traumatized by your dad always telling you off, so now you think Allah is always telling you off. So you made up a version of Allah, right? Freud said the same thing. He said God is made up in your mind, like it's a problem. You always had problems going to the bathroom, and your dad was always telling you off, or mom was always telling you off. So in your mind, you have this thing, this OCD about najasa, about I'm bad, I'm najis, I'm dirty. And so then you project that and you make up God in your mind. So it's true, people, Allah's real, but people make up their own version of Allah. Halal and haram, right? In Arab culture, they have thaqafat aib. That would be inappropriate. What does inappropriate mean? Who found that? Who found that ma'ib? Who found that problematic? Did Allah find that problematic? If Allah found that problematic, then that's haram. Like, I'm worshipping Allah. But if it's just culture, you're worshipping your culture, then what does that even mean? It's just another idol in your head. It's just another idol in your head. So we have to have this thing is that I don't care about anything. La ilaha means I don't care. I'm not intimidated. I'm not hoping. I'm not worried. I don't have any ambitions. Illallah. La ilaha. Throw every fear, every worry, every concern, every consideration. Illallah. If Allah cares about it, I care about it. If Allah doesn't care about it, I really don't care. It's not a problem. Right? It's not a problem. So the ulama, they mentioned, for example, that you should keep to social norms, right? You should keep to social norms. So I remember I was in Jordan when I was 16, and when my teacher said, he said, Fareed, you have to wear a hat. Like, that's it. And I was like, Sheikh, but you said we have to keep to social norms. And it's not a social norm in the West to wear a hat. He said, Fareed, in the West, it's about breaking social norms. The norm in the West is about breaking social norms, right? And I remember my first class in high school, when I went back, there's a girl with 6 inches of pink hair, right? So if she can have 6 inches of pink hair, I can wear a funny hat. It's not a big deal, right? So I'm not talking about the hat or not the hat, but the point is breaking social norms, right? So they'll say that you should keep to social norms unless it is sunnah otherwise. So let's say it's weird to use a miswak, right? It's a bit weird. It's weird to do this. Anything that's part of the sunnah, it doesn't matter if it's socially weird. because that's part of the sunnah. If it's not part of the sunnah, if Allah hasn't told us to do it or not to do it, then it doesn't matter. Social norms apply, right? But we have to understand Allahu Akbar. It's very simple terms, Allahu Akbar. But what does it actually mean on a day-to-day level? It means what Allah wants me to do and how Allah looks at my life and all these things are more important. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La takhshawhum wakhshawn. Don't be, I'm scared of them. What would they say? What will they do? Wakhshawni, fear me, right? And doesn't say fear me, it says dread me, right? Dread is like you're in genuine, you're genuinely disturbed, right? So we have to be. And then why does Allah want us to fear him? Because he is going to benefit from us? Because he's horrible and he wants to prove himself to somebody? No. لِأُتِمَّ or لِأُتِمَّ نِعْمَتِي عَلَيْكُمْ, so that I can complete my blessing upon you. I just want to be nice to you, right? We are sheep and we're out to walk off the cliff, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that our shepherd saying, go this way. So then we don't listen. So what does he do? He throws a rock over there, so we get scared and go here. Why is Allah throwing rocks at me? Why can't he throw rocks at somebody else? Because you're about to walk off the cliff. So he wants you to go to the right place. Don't go to the wrong place. So Allah is only scaring us with hellfire because he's chasing us to paradise. In the dunya and in the akhirah. He wants us to be happy in the dunya and happy in the akhirah. But mashallah, we go the other direction. May Allah forgive us all. So key concept. Why'd you go to Taraweeh? Oh, because that's what we do. No. Don't do, it's not that's what we do. Fine. Is that what you should do? Why do I go to the masjid? Why do I dress like this? Why do we do this on Eid? Every single thing in your life, delete the whole thing. Delete your whole life. La ilaha. Delete every single thing. Illallah. Delete every single thing. Why did you get married? Why do you talk? My dad told me this. He says, once I was hitting your big brother. And then I realized, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because that was done to me. I'm doing this because it was done to me. So just copy bad behavior. Why? Right? La ilaha means delete everything. Control, Alt, delete. That's his life. We're going to go home. So when you say every single morning, astaghfirullah, what does it mean? Format the whole computer of your life. New motherboard, new thing, illallah. And then you put you download this tatbiq and this every single new app that is fits Allah's system. What does Allah want me to do? How does Allah want me to talk to you? How does Allah not want me to talk to you? How does Allah want me to drive? How does Allah not want me to drive? How does Allah want me to eat? Delete every single thing. This is La ilaha illallah. And then Muhammad Rasulullah is what? Is that app. How exactly? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How exactly? We do it like this, you do it like this, you do it like this. Right? But very important, right? But so many people, subhanAllah, really my heart bleeds. Like my heart bleeds when I hear about when I was in Jordan, I was like half Jordanian. Like I saw Jordanian culture, but I didn't live in Jordanian culture. But when you see Arab culture, you see Afghan culture, Somali culture, Sudanese culture, I don't know, you see everybody is doing things that hurt themselves. Everybody, this way or that, they do things that hurt themselves. It's like, why? Like, why do you live a life that hurts yourself? They say that the place where there's more homosexual pornography in the Middle East than any other place. It's like more homosexual pornography. It's like, how does that help you? How does that help you in the dunya? Forget the akhirah. Let's say there's no akhirah. Like, how does that help you? It doesn't help you. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he's just nice. And he just wants you to be happy in the dunya and the akhirah, and you walk the other direction. On an individual level, on a social level, on a political level, on every level. Right? May Allah forgive us. So don't fear them, fear Allah. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open doors for everybody. May Allah forgive us. So since we have sent among you, among yourselves, a messenger reciting to you our revelations, purifying you. How did the Prophet purify? He taught us lessons. He said things, but he was also physically with the Sahaba. One of the Sahaba once, he was very concerned. He said, I have to be an imam. And I find something inside me. It's very difficult. Maybe he's panicking. Maybe I don't know. Prophet literally took hold of it, put one hand here and one hand here and held him. Prophet ﷺ was physically with them, right? So it's very, very important to be physically with people, right? What is one of the main reasons why our iman goes skyrocketing in Ramadan is because you're around good people more. Even if you're not praying Taraweeh, you're just sitting at the back talking to your friend. And he has the apps, right? He's downloaded the right apps. He said, yeah, I don't do that anymore. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I shouldn't do that anymore. So you're just around. It's like, oh, so maybe after Ramadan, if I just hang out with good people, maybe my iman will skyrocket. Yes, sir. That's how it is. So you're on the wrong screen, when you're around the wrong people, you're going to have the wrong system inside, right? Because we as humans, we're continually sharing data, right? That's what we're doing, right? It's like we're like, I don't like to use the word like dogs, but dogs, for example, they go in and they're all smelling stuff. They're like, if a dog comes into this room, he's smelling this and he's processing. He comes in, smells everything. He wants to know what happened here. Every single thing. What happened? He smells another dog. How old? Male or female? Is it a challenge? Is it not a challenge? They're sharing information all the time. They go to each other. They share information. That's what we do. When we talk to people, we're exchanging, right? We're exchanging, sometimes even physically, right? You're actually exchanging hormones by touching someone's hand, right? There's actually hormones coming out of their skin. But you're with somebody, you're always exchanging. So you're either getting bad or getting good. So that's why you have to surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with good screens, surround yourself with good apps, surround yourself with things. And you're like, oh, my iman is very strong. I don't have any problems, right? So it's unbelievably important. Yeah, you oh, you who believe, ward off Allah's punishment. Take the active process to protect yourself from hellfire. And be with the true. You have to be with good people, right? And I remember when I was 14, Sheikh Muhammad Yaqubi, may Allah protect him, he came to England and he gave his talk and he said, if you are not actively giving da'wah in England, like that's what you do on a daily basis or a weekly basis, you give da'wah, you go to schools, you go to churches, you go to people, like your job is da'wah, then go home. Like don't be in a non-Muslim country. Don't be surrounded by kuffar, right? Don't be surrounded by kuffar because you just take on bad things, right? Many people that don't have a choice, their countries are insane, their countries are not safe. There's people who don't have choices, but by default is you want to have yourself surrounded on 9 squares around you. Like there's 9 squares, there's 8 squares around you. Somebody with strong iman, somebody with strong iman, somebody with strong iman, somebody strong iman, somebody strong iman. Everybody around you is focused in prayer. You're going to be focused in prayer. Everybody around you is thinking about something else. You're going to be thinking about something else. That's just how it is. That's just how it is, right? Everybody around you is good at skateboarding. You'll be good at skateboarding. It's normal. Like everybody people skateboard to work. People do this. Yeah, just naturally get good at that. Everybody's good at mechanics. They're good at fixing cars. You just become good at it. It's just normal. It's not even a thing you have to think about. Everybody is healthy. This person's not having sugar. This person's going to the gym. This person's making sure they sleep properly. You just naturally become healthy because you just take on that way. Everybody around you thinks that Allah doesn't exist, thinks that Allah is not important, thinks that the Sharia is a joke. Everybody around you thinks that you should prefer what people say over what Allah says. Obviously, you're going to think like that. That's just how it is, right? A sahib, sahib. Your buddy will pull you. Whoever you're around, that person is pulling you to the good or to the evil. May Allah protect us. So the Prophet purified the Sahaba like that, and the Sahaba purified the Tabi'een, and we have to be around these people, teaching you the book and the wisdom, and teaching you what you never knew. Remember me, and I will remember you, and thank me, and don't be ungrateful. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, remember me, and I remember you. So what happens if you don't remember Allah? Allah won't remember you. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a rope. We're climbing down a cliff, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm holding the rope. You make sure you hold the rope too. And what do? We let go of the rope. So Allah says, why did you let go of the rope? And we're like, no, you let go of the rope. I was holding the rope, but you let go of it. So every single day, we are pushing ourselves away from Allah. Allah is putting out his hand to help us with drowning, and we're like, no. Allah said, no, hold tight. We let go, right? We're letting go, right? So whenever we do that, right? وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ إِذَا نَسِيتَ. Whenever you forget Allah, say astaghfirullah. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina. Ya Allah, help me. Ya Allah, help me do this. 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 This is continue making dua. Why does Allah send us difficulties? So you remember Him. And I don't know what to do. Ya Allah, help me. I don't know what to say. Ya Allah, help me. Ya Allah, help me. Ya Allah, help me. Continually processing. That's the app we're supposed to have, which is called processing things through Allah. But we deleted that app. And whenever we get the advertisement, do you want that app? We're like, no, delete. Download this app. No, I don't want it. Download this app. I don't want it. Right? And the shaitan's like, no, you don't need that app. I'll help you. Right? There's another app that's cheaper. It's free. Or it has higher star rating, whatever it is, right? So this is how things are, right? So we have to download the Allah app and use the Allah app. O believers, seek comfort in patience and prayer. Allah is truly with those who are patient. Never say about those who are martyred in the way of Allah. People die for the sake of Allah. They are dead. In fact, they are alive, but you do not perceive it. So this happened in Jordan. They found that in the Battle of Karama, that happened in Jordan, between Israel and Jordan. They found, so in Jordan is kind of quite high elevation, so it's cool. Most of it is desert. And then there is an area which is called the Jordan Valley, right, which is very low and very hot, and there's a lot of agriculture there. And so that's where the battle happened. So when it's low and hot, bodies decay quickly, and it's moist, etc. Right, bodies decay. So they found bodies there that are like 3-4 years old and had not decayed at all. People had died as shuhada, died as shaheeds. So that's the case with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Doesn't allow the earth to consume the body of a shaheed. Right, just like with the prophets, of the Prophet's body is as it was, it has not decayed. Right, and so how exactly they are alive in another way, right? They're alive in another way. Obviously, we're not talking to them, but they're alive in the other way, and we have to understand that, right? So again, concept. So and so, this happened. For example, I'll give you an example. Very important thing. This sister, she asked a question. She says, "Listen, I was at college. My friend was at college. My friend was very good looking. I wasn't so good looking. My friend did things that she shouldn't have done. I feared Allah. My friend's now married and happy, and I'm not married. How did Allah help me? Like Allah didn't help me. She did the haram and she's happy, and I did the halal and Allah didn't help me. So I've missed out. What I should have done is made myself more available, should have done things that other people did, etc. And then maybe people would have noticed me and maybe I got married. Right? That's how she's thinking. So she's thinking, my martyrdom, like I died as a shaheed, like I didn't put myself out there. I didn't go to places where I shouldn't go. Nobody noticed me. Things didn't happen. So here I am, I'm 30 and still I'm not married. And yet she's 30 and she has kids and she's happy, made Toba and she's fine. Like that doesn't make sense. Like she's happy and I'm not. Like how did Allah help me? It said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here, never say about those who died in the way of Allah. So this person died as a shaheed and achieved nothing. You just died. You lost. Look at you. You just lost. Yeah, that's in your mind. In Allah's mind, it's the opposite. He died as a shaheed. Every single sacrifice you did for the sake of Allah is with Allah. Whether you get the benefits here in the dunya, that's irrelevant. In fact, many of the Sahaba, they were upset. Many of the Sahaba, when eventually the Muslims conquered Iraq and Central Asia and then going to Levant and they became wealthy, like, oh no, the fact that we've got dunya means that we're not going to get it in the akhirah. The fact that it worked out in the dunya means it's not even good for us, because most of the Sahaba, many of the Sahaba died when things were difficult. They did sacrifices and they didn't get anything in the dunya. So they have a better situation, right? So we're always thinking, this is another way people think, oh, there's a lot of barakah in his life. Well, because there's a nice car. That's called barakah. And he graduated 2 years early from med school. There's a lot of barakah in his life. See, he did things in the right way. Or see, I'm a good person. There's a lot of barakah in my life. That means absolutely nothing. Like whether you are healthy, whether you're wealthy, whether your marriage worked out, whether you got kids, whether you did well at school, it means zero. That means nothing. There's not an indication whether Allah likes you or doesn't like you. The Prophet ﷺ told us is Allah gives the dunya to people who he likes and to people who does not like. So things work out. Oh, things didn't work out for me. That means zero. It just means you're on question 28 of the test. You're like, why is question 28 like this? There's 40 questions in this test. One of them is called this, one is called this. It doesn't mean anything. Whether life is easy or difficult, it means nothing. It means all it is, what's the question is respond to the situation, poverty, death, war, anxiety, divorce, failure at college, mental issues, process it in an Allah way. That's all. So if you're processing it in the right way, Allah loves you. If you're not processing it in the right way, Allah doesn't love you. Simple. It's irrelevant of did you fail or not? So outwardly, a martyr is a total failure. He just died. He achieved nothing. Right? He achieved nothing. Look, for example, we have Brother Ilham from Tajikistan. I'm sure right in the beginning, I don't know when the Russians first came in, 200 years ago, 100 years? 1920, so 100 years ago, right? So right in the beginning, there's going to be mujahideen, right? But they failed. So they failed. The Russians came in, and then we had post-Soviet Union, and it's still pretty bad, right? It's not that amazing. So they failed. On a worldly level, they failed. Did they fail? If you said they have failed, that's kufr. That's kufr. It's like Allah subhanahu whoever, whatever they did, the politicians who tried their best, the ulama who tried their best, the religious people who tried their best, all the mujahideen who did whatever they could do, they tried their best. And they didn't fail. Nobody failed. Whenever you do something for the sake of Allah, you have not failed. If it's very difficult, you have not failed. If your life falls apart, you have not failed. If you finally get married and your kids are all disabled, you have not failed. The Prophet said, he said, encouraging people to have lots of children, he said, you get ajr for even every single miscarriage. Can't have any children. Every single baby is born. It's like, this one died within 2 weeks. This was a miscarriage. You get ajr for it. It's on Judgment Day as if you had all these kids and they're all hufad and they're all this and they're all that. Your niyyah, why did you do what you did? Why did you do what you did? As opposed to, oh, look, see, there's no barakah in your life. See, your kids are sick all the time. It's the opposite. One of the Sahaba divorced his wife. And she said, why did you divorce her? He said, she's never sick. There's no barakah in her. The opposite is the case. Like, there's no difficulties. Surely, like, Allah's not testing her. So therefore, there's no barakah in her life. Right? It's the opposite. Right? And so many things are the other way around. Right? So this is the shaheed. In fact, they are alive, but you can't perceive it. You can't perceive it. Right? We will certainly test you with a touch of fear and famine and a great loss of property and life and crops. So we're like, why is life so difficult? I need to avoid difficulty. Yes, you should avoid difficulty. But Allah has guaranteed you difficulty. If you do what is right, you eventually will be in a life or death situation. That is how things are. That is the contract that you sign. When you sign up to La ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah, you're signing up for persecution. You're signing up for fitna. You're signing up for the gas. What's Allah's going to do? That's what Allah's going to do, right? Ashab al-Ukhdud. You know the story of Ashab al-Ukhdud. These people are they're all thrown in fires, and all these different things happen, right? For the Christians, they used to rip their beards off. The Romans used to rip their beards off. Imagine you ripping someone's beard off and all their skin comes off. They used to put them in the amphitheater, right, and have them eaten by lions and all these kind of things. So they used to do the Christians. The Christians originally in the first first 200 years were just all persecuted. Everything about them, persecute them. So if you do what is right, you will be persecuted. That's what you're signing up for. That's what you're signing up for, right? And so I should do a waiver form, by the way. Whenever I lead the prayer, I always I make dua that we all die as a shaheed, by the way. So you should sign a waiver form like that. That's what we do. Like, what is up in a shahadata, right? Make us die as shaheed, right? So you're asking for difficulty, that's what it means. Because you're going to the higher test. Like you don't want to get a high, you only want to you want to graduate from elementary school, then you're not going to do the middle school or high school or college test, of course. So, but if you want a high reward, you have to do a high test. That's the nature of it. Allah's going to test you in every single angle of your life. Every single angle, test you in ways you couldn't even imagine. Right? That's because He wants to raise you up high, not because He wants you to suffer. We will certainly test you with a touch of fear and famine, loss of property, life and crops, and give glad news to the patient. What does a patient mean? Patient doesn't mean that you process things through Allah. The pain that's coming to you, the anguish, the anxieties, the choices. So I'm in a situation, Sheikh, what should I do? You process it through the Sharia as opposed to processing it in your own way, right? And you will be shocked of how many people, how many religious people do that, right? They will literally ask you a question and not ask you five other questions. And you know that they're doing a whole lot of things that are totally off. So they say, oh, Sheikh, do I have to wipe my socks like this? Sheikh, do I have to make wudu? Everything else in their life, particularly when it comes to the Almighty Paisa, it's halal and haram does not apply. Halal and haram does not apply to money because that's a place where the sheikh cannot go. It doesn't apply to my marriage, whether they're married or not, right? So that's not, again, I don't mean to keep this thing, people who are like, they divorced their wife 50,000 times, but because it would be a bad image for the family, they still live with them. It's like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا آيَاتِ اللَّهِ هُزُوًا. Don't take Allah's signs, Allah's verses as a joke. It's like you've divorced her not 3 times, Habibi, 100 times. And it's like, oh, but it would be bad for the family. You mean it's embarrassing? They're two different things. Bad for the family is you didn't fix yourself, you didn't fix your marriage, and you couldn't be bothered. And so therefore, everybody grows up hating being at home. They don't want to be home. They're going to leave home as soon as possible. That's bad for the family. What you mean is it would be embarrassing to you. Bro, like, it's okay to be embarrassed. Put your head down and embarrass yourself. Yeah, this is the case. And and then for the family, oh, we can't object to our dad living with mama. It's like, it's haram. That's your mum. An ajnabi is living with your mum. An ajnabi is living with your mum. That's like, where's your ghairat? Where's your, like, that's not your mother's husband. Take your mother out of the situation and find her a nice husband in a halal way. What's wrong with that? Oh, that would be bad, right? My mum was getting married. My mum was getting married in Jordan. And so my parents were divorced, and my mum was getting married, and everyone was shocked. They were shocked because my mum's Swiss and I'm English, and her husband's from Oregon. And they're like, why would you marry somebody who's not related to you? And why would you marry off your own mother? Like, that's weird. You should stop her from getting married because the Quran should not be applied, right? Like, we should do the opposite of the Quran because culture is more important than Allah, right? And they were just shocked, like, but why are you not stopping your mom getting married? Like, subhanAllah, like, is that wrong? Like, I was just like shocked, like, isn't that what's supposed to happen? Like, why is there an iddah? And why is it haram, for example, divorce a woman on her period? Because you could extend her time of being unmarried for 3 days or 4 days. So the idea is she finished her iddah, go and get married, bismillah. Like, people are supposed to move on, but culture is more important than everything else. Like, may Allah forgive us, right? And so, you processing things through Allah, process marriage, process divorce, process needs. You need something. You are hungry. I know you are hungry, but there's 10 minutes till iftar. Process it through Allah. Allah, as opposed to I'm angry that I'm hungry and I hate Islam. Wrong. Or I'm just going to eat anyway and not tell anybody. Wrong. So you process it through Allah. Right? That's called sabr. Processing things through Allah. And so when they are faced with the disaster, they say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So it says, surely, when faced with the disaster, they say, surely to Allah alone we belong, and unto him we will return. What does the Arabic say? The Arabic says, we are returning, right? So imagine, for example, you ask me a question, and I say, I will be leaving in 5 minutes. Okay, you have 5 minutes to talk and ask me a question. Imagine asking me a question as I'm walking out, right? It's going to be even briefer. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this frequently. He uses this concept is that we are not going to return to Allah. We are returning to Allah. We are on our way out already. Like, we've already checked in. Saying, bro, I can't talk. I've actually just checked in. So every single one of us, we were born. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. What does that mean? It doesn't mean we'll taste death. It means it's tasting death. You have the pill in your mouth already. You just haven't swallowed it. Or you've swallowed it and it's like it's going. So this is every single one of us, right? On a physical level, right? The nurse will confirm it, right? As in our what's it called? Mitochondria. In our mitochondria, right? As we do what's called as we create energy, right? As we create energy, as we're getting oxygen and glucose and doing this thing called energy, we're releasing free radicals, which is killing us. So as we live, we are dying. Like life is a walk to the door of death. Like you're walking. So are you living or you dying? Well, depending how you look at it, right? So every single one of us is dying, right? So it says, وَإِنَّ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. It's not سَنَرْجِعُ. It's not we will return. We are returning. I'm literally on my way out already, right? And so there was a really good film. I don't encourage anybody to watch TV ever. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, don't have a television. But, sometimes you have to watch TV because there's people in your family that need it, right? And so as advice as a parent, if your kids are going to watch TV, watch it with them. Like anything that's inappropriate for you to look at is inappropriate for them to look at, right? So you'll be like, you're there, and it's like the kids are not going to fast forward, are they? Your kids are not going to fast forward. Oh, that's an inappropriate scene, right? So you should sit there and be with them, etc. So anyway, my son was into cowboy stuff, right? I was actually a cowboy as well. From the age of 5 or 6, I was a cowboy. I was trying to learn how to lasso. I wasn't a gunslinger. Obviously, being English, you can't get a gun, but so I was a cowboy for about 1 year. I should put that on my resume. Cowboy for approximately the age of 5 to 6. Anyway, so my son was into cowboys, and so we watched this film, the Shootist, I think it's called, right? It's not John Wayne. What's the other guy? Super famous cowboy actor. Like he did like 50,000 cowboy films. Okay, no, somebody else. I can't remember his name, and he's super famous. Anyway, so this is this actor's. Not Clint Eastwood, no, another guy. So anyway, this guy is so the film is the last cowboy film he ever did, and the last film he ever did, because he was literally dying of cancer while he did the film. Like the actor was dying of cancer, and the film starts day one. So the film is 7 days because he goes to the doctor, he has problems, he has colon cancer, and the doctor's like, this, you're not going to get out of this. Like his painkiller, that's it. Right? You're not going to get better. And that's every single one of us, right? I'm 37. This is how things are. Like you're not going to get stronger, fitter, healthier. It's not going to work like that. The back pains are going to come in, the teeth things, this. Every single one of us is just this. That's it. That's how we are. We're all going down like this. So the film was very profound because it's like every now and then it's like day 2, day 3. And so his process is like, dude, I am dying. I'm just going to do the last things I ever want to do. So the last thing he ever does is kill these 2 people, etc. Right? And then he dies. But the thing is, it was like hit me. It was like, subhanAllah, it was this, he's like, for example, he asked this lady, and he says, so and so, would you come with me? Because I just want to go and look at the nature. And she's like, oh, this is inappropriate. I'm not married, and you're not married. It's like, sister, I'm dying. Like, I'm not interested in you. You're not interested in me. I just want to see nature. I just want to see something like he's like, I'm not interested in life. Right. So this is how the believer is like, I'm not interested, like, oh, can you look after this man? I'm not interested in your money. I don't care about this. I'm dying. Like, I have like 2 days left. I don't care. I just want to do the best things left. So every single one of us is in his shoes. We're just dying. I don't care if I have debts. I don't care if it's about these kind of things. If I was dying, what would I do? That's the thing the believer says. If this was your last day, if we all knew that this building is going to collapse on us now, what would you do? Would you go home? Yeah, then go home now. Then why are you here? Right? What would the last thing you do? Would you go say sorry to your mum, or would you pray Taraweeh? Probably go say sorry to my mum. Then go and do it now, because you're not going to live through Taraweeh, right? So one of the Salaf was asked, what does it mean to like have a proper mentality of life and death? Is it that you think you won't live to the end of the year or to the end of the week? He said, no. He said, you won't think to the end of the sentence, not the end of the sentence, the end of the breath. That's the mentality. This is your last breath. You want to cuss? Go ahead. You want to smoke? Go ahead. You want to watch that thing on TV? Go ahead. If that's what you want your last breath to be, then do so, right? So we are not going to go back to Allah. We are actually going to Allah. We're all walking out right now. We've already checked in. They already know we're on that plane. It's already that we're already in the right section, right? And they won't let us go out. We're like, hey, can I just? No, you can't go out. Yeah, but I want to go out. You can't. When you entered this what's it called? This departure lounge, you can't leave. And you can only go through one door, which is death. And so is it going to be today? Is it going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be next week? Are we going to see another Ramadan? right? Are we going to see any of these things? We have no idea, right? We have no idea. You can die any day. This road is very dangerous. Many things are very dangerous. You could be having a suhoor and you choke on water. Right? It's like, subhanAllah. So you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to the masjid. You're actually not going to make it to the masjid. Like those 2 minutes they weren't yours. Right? That's how it is. So this is how we have to understand. They process things in that app. The app is, I'm already walking out of this place. I'm a dead man. Right? I'm a dead man who came back to life to do a few things. Right? I'm sure there's films like that, right? People go back in time and I wish I could just do this, this, this. What would you do? Would you speak to your kids like that? Would you do this? I'm just walking out of here. I don't really care about the details, right? So there's a key thing to do. If if you died right now and went back to the situation, is there something else you would do? Because for God's sake, do it. Because that is the situation you're in, right? Here, Brother Muhammad Anwar is like an ayah for us, like it's a sign, right? It's just somebody who has, brother, you're 86 now? 83. So 83, right? Many people don't live up to that age, right? Many people don't live up to the age. So it's every single day is like, right? Inshallah, he's going to be here in another 10 Ramadans, another 20 Ramadans. He lived to 120, inshallah, right? So he asked me on his 20th birthday, inshallah, to do a new nikah, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, right? He could be. So that's the thing is, he's a sign for us. Like, subhanAllah, like, and that's why one of the problems in our society in the West is we're not around elderly people. So you don't see death very much. But death is a very important thing. You should be burying people every day. And like, oh my God, this is very real, right? I went to school with this kid. He's my same age. I saw this, right? This is how it should be. May Allah forgive us. Okay. So we are not going to return to Allah. We are all on our way out already. So therefore, it's not a problem. I don't care. They are the ones who will receive Allah's blessings and mercy, and it is they who are rightly guided. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Hajj. It says, indeed, the hills of Safa and Marwa are of the symbols of Allah. So whoever performs the pilgrimage or Umrah, let them walk between the two hills, between Safa and Marwa. Whoever does good willingly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is truly appreciative and all-knowing, right? Shakir, right? What does it mean? It means you do something and Allah appreciates it. Does every single person in this room feel fully appreciated by their kids? No. Do you feel fully appreciated by the government? No. Do you feel fully appreciated by your wife? No. By your husband? No. By your parents? No. Nobody feels fully appreciated because nobody else can see what's happening in your head, difficulties you go through, the fact that you were partially calm and didn't blow up in their face, and you had to make yourself unbelievably patient and deal with all these difficulties. They don't know what happened to you in your life. They don't know what happened in your day. They don't know what's going on. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Shakir and Alim. He knows every single thing. He knows the difficulties. The fact that, for example, you're an alcoholic, right? And you tried for one day to leave alcohol and you almost went insane. The fact that, for example, you managed to stay in that marriage for one more year, the fact that you managed to pray once a day, even though it was very, very hard. Allah knows your situation. Other people like, you only pray once a day. What's your problem? Oh, you got a divorce. Other people don't understand you. Other people don't understand you, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understands you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciates every single tiny little good thing you do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Those who hide the clear signs of guidance that we have revealed after we made it clear for humanity in the book will be cursed by Allah and all those who curse. As for those who repent of the Jews and the Christians and mend their ways and let the truth be known, they are the ones to whom I will turn in forgiveness, for I am the acceptor of repentance, most merciful. Surely those who disbelieve and die as disbelievers are cursed by Allah, the angels, and all humanity, and they will be in hell forever. Their punishment will not be lightened, nor will they be delayed from it. Your God is only one God. There is no God worthy of worship except Him, the most compassionate, the most merciful. So today somebody messaged me, they're like, Sheikh, I have these issues. I have to go to the bathroom every 2 minutes. I'm scared of this. I'm scared of that. I'm scared that I'm a munafiq, right? So a lot of people like this. They label themselves. So you should be concerned that you're fake Muslim. You should be concerned. But many people, they have OCD, right? And they're like paranoid, like I'm a bad person. I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Like none of that is real. So what they do is they look at Allah as if Allah is this horrible, nasty, powerful thing out there that's just trying to oppress me. Allah is not there to oppress you. Allah is not there to harm you. Allah's there. He is kind and merciful. And you have to embrace that, right? I'm on my 8th day of fasting and I'm so unbelievably tired. I have migraines. I have to complete my taraweeh. Brother, it's wajib to pray taraweeh. I understand. But wajib means what? It means you have to pray taraweeh unless you have an excuse. You have an excuse. You need to go to sleep. Yeah, but Allah is merciful. Have your iftar. You can't sleep at night. You're not sleeping properly. Keep broken sleep. Go to sleep. Take some medication. Go to sleep from Maghrib. 15 minutes before Fajr. Wake up and have your suhoor. Pray Isha quickly. Yeah, but. So they don't want to accept Allah's rahmah. There's times that Allah has a rahmah. Take it. Sister, you should break your fast. I don't think you should keep going. No, it's okay. It's okay. My mom did this, or all the other sisters went through the whole pregnancy with a fast the whole Ramadan. I can do the same thing. Sister, you can't. Maybe the other sisters have more weight than you. I don't know what they have. So they're like, they don't want to take the rukhsa when there's a genuine time to take the rukhsa because they don't see Allah as a Rahman. They don't know Allah as a kind Allah. He's just a horrible, nasty Allah who's trying to control me. That's all. But Allah is not like that. You have one God, and that God is merciful. Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, the alternation of day and night, the ships that sail for the benefit of humanity, California, so Bay Area, right? We have the Bay Area. Why is it wealthy? Because of the ships. We have all these ships coming in. And the rain sent down by Allah from the skies, reviving the earth after its death, the scattering of all kinds of creatures throughout it, the shifting of the winds, the clouds drifting between the heavens and the earth. In all of this are surely clear signs for people of understanding. But if you're not a person of understanding and you're a cynic and you're cynical about things, just an accident. It's all an accident, it's just random. Everything you're benefiting from is just a random accident. This is a negative way of thinking. And still, there are some who take others as equals to Allah. They love them as they should love Allah. But the true believers love Allah even more. So, very important concept. Why is it that I can't focus in prayer? It is because I love other things more than Allah. Simple. That is just how it is. So your brain works. Your brain filters out things that it doesn't prioritize. You notice things in this room that you like, right? So, for example, as a skateboarder or a former skateboarder, I walk past a set of 7 stairs and I'm like, nice set of 7. And you don't even remember how many steps it was. I remember, nice handrail, nice this. You notice things based on your attachment, right? Somebody sees a car, they're into classics, like, oh man, I should have got that. That's a classic. And they go around, they do a U-turn, they try and catch that car again. They notice the classic. You're like, old car. Somebody sees old car, the other sees classic. Your wife notices the dress in that shop, and you're like, was it a clothes shop? Like, how did you not know it was a clothes shop? Right? She was like this, and she's thinking on Eid, this one or this one or this one, because that's what she loves. And you're like, I didn't even know it was a clothes shop. Right? You remember things based on what you care about. What you forgot your kid's favorite toy because you don't care about him. That's what I mean. Like your brain literally deleted it. It went through and said delete. You forget things because you don't care. Right? That's how it works. So why is it that somebody can pray and is 100% focused on Allah? It's because they actually love Allah more than anything else. But when money comes in, when work comes in, when this comes in, when that comes in, when that guy's here again, and why is that guy elbowing me? It's because other things are more beloved to us than Allah. So ishq, love of Allah is not worship, but it is an essential ingredient of worship. If there's no ishq, you don't have love, right? Then it doesn't work, right? That's so. What is it? Yunus Emre, right? Yunus Emre, his famous lines. He says, I can't pronounce I don't know Turkish, but it's something like gel gurbeni gel gurbeni aşk neylede. He says, come and see what love has done to me. Like, just come and look at me. See what an insane person I am. Like the way that Allah has changed my life because I don't have any love other than Allah. Like, just come and look at me. He's not trying to show off. But he's like, this is how it should be. Right? So love of Allah is very, very important. Like it's an incredible. So people like, yeah, I fear Allah, but I don't love Allah. You don't worship Allah then. You don't worship Allah. Or I follow Prophet Muhammad, but I don't love Prophet Muhammad. That doesn't make any sense. See the Sahaba, like they almost worshipped him. They didn't worship him, but they almost worshipped him. Like the way that it functions, like it would be weird. Like the way you see that how they dealt with him, the way they loved him, the way that the Sahabiya, her brother is in the battle, her son is in the battle, and she's asking about one person, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And then they say he's okay. She's not happy until she sees the Prophet's okay. She can't. She's not. It's like someone said, is my daughter out of the ICU? Yeah, I want to see her. Like I got to see her, right? That's how she was. She says, I want to see the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. If my husband dies in jihad, it's fine. If my son dies, I don't mind, but I have to see that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is okay. So you have to love the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You have to love Allah. Otherwise, it's not ibadah. It's just doing things, right? So we love Allah and we fear Allah, but you have to love Allah. Right? One of the words when we say Al-Ilah, Allah, right? It means it's from the one explanation is from the word walhan. Walhan is somebody who is lost in love. He's like insane. He's like Majnoon Layla. That's what it's like, right? He's like insane. So if you think about it, that's how we live life. Like imagine, for example, Muhammad Amin, for example, he's getting married, okay? And he meets this sister, okay? And he's like, SubhanAllah, we're going to get married in 2 weeks or in 2 months. And you say something, he's like, no, she wouldn't like that. Like, dude, I'm not even talking about her. Why does every single thing I say remind you of her? Right? And he just writes it, and 5 times a day, he just writes poetry to her. He's like, bro, like, are you okay? He's the kind of Romeo kind of guy. Like, what's going on? Don't we do that 5 times a day? Like right now, which person doesn't eat for 30 days for the sake of their wife or for the sake of their girlfriend or something like that? Like, who does that? That's because we are insanely in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? That's called ibadah, to be insanely in love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do sujood to Allah, right? So there's love, adoration, worship. So if you don't have love, you're not even in the entry level ibadah. You haven't started, right? So وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ, right? If only the wrongdoers could see the horrible punishment awaiting them, they would certainly realize that all power belongs to Allah and that Allah is indeed severe in punishment. Consider the day when those who misled others will disown their followers. So this is what happened. I was just following so-and-so. He's got cool shoes. I want to buy cool shoes like that. He says these words. I say these words, right? I was just following fashion. I was just doing what everybody else did. What's going to happen on Judgment Day? Allah zooms in and says, look what happens, right? My dad, he was in Palestine in the early 80s. And he said, every single teenager looked like Michael Jackson. Exactly. So are they processing the problem, the oppression, they're being oppressed? Do they process it in the right way? No, not processing the right way. They're in a difficult situation, process it in the right way. So what they do, we want to be Michael Jackson, the same jacket, the same haircut, everything, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and look what happens. When that person who was followed, he will say to the people who followed him, I have nothing to do with you, you have nothing to do with me. And they all see the punishment. I only dress like this because she dressed like that. It's cool, right? And what would happen if I didn't dress like that, right? This is how it should be done, right? They set a fashion and people follow, right? The misled followers will cry, if only we could have a second chance. We would disown them. I would not follow that person. I wouldn't buy the clothes that they have. I wouldn't speak like them. I wouldn't walk like them. I wouldn't want to be like them, right? I wouldn't do that thing. And so just like that, does Allah will make them remorseful for their misdeeds, and they will never be able to leave the fire. So this is a key thing, blind following. Don't blindly follow this person, blindly follow that person, blindly follow this. Follow Allah. Sibghat Allah means I'm dyed in Allah's color. My clothes are Allah clothes. My walk is Allah walk. My talk is Allah talk. My vision is Allah vision. Right? That's how I see things, as opposed to this system, that system, these people, those people. I'm not interested in any of that. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, we'll stop here, inshallah. It says, O humanity, eat from what is lawful and good on earth, and do not follow Satan's footsteps. So just remind everybody, we'll come to this 168, inshallah, tomorrow. Remind everybody, Ar-Royani, one of the great scholars of the past, he lived in the 5th century. He was mentioning in his book of fiqh, sunnahs of breaking your fast. And he says, you should break your fast on rutab, which is dry, moist dates that are not cured. And if you can't have that, then on dates. If you can't have that, then on fruit, etc., etc. They mention in books of fiqh, they mention what's the sunnah, right? He says, in our times, this is 900 years ago. He says, in our times, you shouldn't do that. In our times, you should go to the river and get a scoop of water because at least it's halal. Like that it's halal. Because everything else is, you bought it from him, he bought it from him, and he stole it from him. Right? So how about breaking your fast with haram meat? Right? So we live in a world of ulama of what's ulama is when the whole world is one thing, what's it called? Not globalism. Global market. We live in a global market. The things like I had some nuts at home and it says source, where are these nuts from? It's like from 20 different countries. Something is in Africa and South America, it's everywhere. So the meat in the world is often from all over the place. So this happened in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, they had chicken from China. So you're like, oh, but I'm in a Muslim country. You're not in a Muslim country. You're in the country called the world. I'm in Jordan and the meat is from Brazil. I'm in Saudi and the meat is from France. Right? And the default of the world is that meat is not halal. Default meat from China is not halal. Default meat. So you can say, oh, I'm in Afghanistan, meat's halal. It's like that was the case. In a world where it was slow and everything was local, and it's not the case anymore. So you need to ask questions. Where are these things from? What's going on? Right? Is this halal? And if you're not an aggressive customer, you're going to be sold the cheapest, nastiest thing, guaranteed. That's what's going to happen, right? Your doctor will make as much money out of you as possible unless you're aggressive. That's what they're going to do. You're not paying, Medical's paying, so they're going to be like, yeah, you should do this test, this. They're going to make money. Everybody's here to make money. I'm not here to help you. Nobody is here to help you. Right? That's a very naive way of thinking. McDonald's is not here because they really believe in giving people food. They make money. Any business makes money. If I can make 10% more, of course I'm going to do it. If I can cut costs by doing machine slaughtered, if I can cut costs by getting any just from a cheaper place, I will do that. Right? So anybody who looks into the meat market, they'll see that. And so you should have to be an aggressive customer and just ask the question: is this halal? What does it mean halal? Because in America, there's no rules of halal. Like there's no rules of kosher. I can actually certify kosher food as well. We could start a kosher business right now. Put, Sheikh Farid Dingle from BMCC says it's kosher. So then this Jew is looking at it what do you know about kosher? It's like, I don't know anything about kosher because there's no rules. It doesn't actually mean anything. Halal doesn't actually mean anything. Kosher doesn't actually mean anything. It's just a label. So unless you're an aggressive customer who says, where'd you get it from? How was it slaughtered? Then you can guess. You can guess what it's going to be. It's going to be an animal that's beaten up, given steroids, given this, and inshallah, it's slaughtered in a halal way. Maybe if that was cheap. Otherwise, no. It's done in the cheapest, fastest possible way because money. We're not interested about halal, haram, or the environment, or you, or anybody else. I'm interested in money, right? Remember, Paisa subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Paisa subhanahu. That's how people think. The Prophet ﷺ said that. He said, "Ta'asad abd dinar wa abd dirham." He said, the slave of the dirham and the dinar, may he be wretched, because it's a real thing. Worship of the almighty dollar is real. The whole world, money makes the world go round. Deen does not make the world go round. Your health does not make the world go round. World peace does not make the world go round. Money makes the world go round. So you have to be an aggressive customer. Like, is this good for me? Is this thing? You have to be aggressive. Otherwise, you're going to be sold whatever. Right? May Allah forgive us all. So inshallah, we're going to go to that tomorrow. And sorry for talking so much today. Subhanallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.